Hello and welcome. It is Gauntlet of Greatness time once again. I'm Randy Buehler, joined as usual by Shadow Nutella. How are things?
Everything is awesome.
Everything is awesome. We are in Group D. So these are the last four decks that are going to enter the tournament. This is a historical standard tournament. All of these decks were legal at some point in standard, and you can see from the years, we've got, we're kind of running the gambit. We've got an Abzan deck, which dominated standard basically last year. And then we've got a Turbo Stasis deck, which is, it's just 20 years older. No big deal. Throw in Black Devotion, throw in Callblade, maybe a 2010s bias to this group, but it should be an interesting one for sure. I'm particularly interested to see how some of these sort of more modern standard decks compare across the history of time. The other decks, just sort of finish setting the context. Group C, these matches were played last week. You can go watch the videos. Somehow, Rebels and Atarka Red both pulled off upsets. They will play for a spot in the top 8 when we circle back to this group again. Delver and Mythic play an elimination match. It's kind of an upset there.
I would like to... Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I'd like to revisit the Delver deck list. It feels... It feels really creature-light. It feels like it was designed for its own mirror.
Interesting. Yeah, there's definitely an issue of trying to have the sort of objectively powerful version of these archetypes rather than the one that's metagamed for a mirror where you're metagamed for an environment where you're going to see a lot of mirror matches. I actually tweaked the Callblade deck a little bit with exactly that in mind, so that's fair. I mean, it may be that, like what I did to find the Delver list is I went back and I was looking at the Grand Prix, and I think this list is specifically, it's either a version Shahar Shenhar played to win a Grand Prix, or it's a version that Yu Yu Watanabe played to win a Grand Prix. I think they were very similar, and I forget which one I went with the final details on. But yeah, it's an actual list just kind of plucked out of time, but you're right, that might not be the best way to set it up. I don't know, I'm happy to talk about that.
Okay.
All right, so continuing the context setting, that's Group C. Group B, you see 4 more decks. Necro was also a first-round upset victim. We'll see if it can survive against Jund. It's made the playoffs 2 years in a row.
Relegation!
Yeah, relegation. Yeah, like I'm going to let that happen. Like I wouldn't change the rules. All right, and Group A, Erhnageddon, the oldest deck in the field. Though, we'll see how long. It really feels like, Erhnageddon just does not measure up to modern creature standards, but we'll get another match in and see what happens. Of course, what you don't see in this field are the decks that have been retired to the Hall of Fame. Tolarian Academy, Memory Jar, Yawgmoth's Bargain, too good, crushed the field in previous seasons, and yeah, there you go. 16 of the best decks in the history of Standard. So, we are about to play not Abzan versus Callblade. We are going to play Black Devotion against Turbo Stasis. Now, this is actually a rematch of a Season 3 matchup where I went into it thinking, wow, the Devotion deck is so slow. This should be a great match for Turbo Stasis. And then Shadow reminded me about this card. Good old-fashioned Thoughtseize. Well, maybe not so old-fashioned, but definitely good, especially against a deck whose game plan all lives in the hand. And then there's 3 copies of Duress hiding out in the sideboard as well, so I don't know. I mean, obviously Devour Flesh does nothing against my creatureless deck. The Bile Blights aren't going to be good. The Hero's Downfalls aren't going to be good, but, the card drawing is, maybe it's a little slow, maybe it's a little okay. Grey Merchant, though, even under a Stasis lock, you can actually build up lands and cast spells slowly but surely. Let's look at the Stasis deck to see what's going on over here. So, this is a mana lock deck. The idea is that you play Stasis, nobody gets to untap anything, but your job as the Stasis player is just play an island every turn. And the reason you can realistically try to play an island every turn is that you have a Howling Mines. That's where the turbo start comes from. Turbo word comes from. This is really the first deck to use the word turbo to mean, oh, I have Howling Mines in my deck. Let's go fast. You've got Force of Will. You've got Kismet to actually try to lock them so that even the land drop they play every turn comes into play tap. Once that lock is in place, it's really hard for decks to do much of anything. And then the basic idea here is you play Stasis, you upkeep it for a while, and then eventually you want to reset it. So you either bounce your own Stasis with a boomerang during their end step so that you get an untapped step, then you redrop the Stasis so they never do. Or you can actually kill your own Stasis with Despotic Scepter. 1 mana, kill your own Stasis. During their turn, obviously, untap, drop a new Stasis, and just keep going. So it's, yeah, I mean, it's very much a mana denial deck. It's very much a lock deck. It's the kind of thing that hasn't really been a part of Magic since the 90s. But hey, it's historical standard, right? Time to open up all the closets and pull out all the crazy strategies and see how they measure up, all right?
Yep.
All right.
It really does feel like this deck has nothing going here, but yeah, if you can't get your lock, yeah. No, my deck, the Black Devotion deck. I'm like,
you
what?
won this matchup. I mean, yeah, I looked at it. I said exactly the same thing when we played it last time. I thought it was going to be an easy win for Turbostasis, and it just wasn't.
Yeah.
I definitely lost. All right. I am hosting a match. Come fight me.
Sounds good. Talk to you after the match.
All right. Yeah, I'll meet you on Skype. We'll chat more after the match. Good luck to you, sir. Yeah, he is on his way, presumably. This is definitely very much the clash of styles. Like these barely feel like the same game. I don't know, I say that. They totally feel like the same game. Still, one land a turn, but I've always thought one of the great things about Magic is the diversity of strategies that are possible within that same rule set, so let's see what happens. The Stasis victory condition, by the way, if you haven't seen this, is you deck them. Like, you just literally, 1 card at a time, make them draw their entire library. You do have the ability to... This is my 1 copy of Felden's Cane, so I can reshuffle my graveyard once, which is usually enough to deck them, even if I've drawn some extra cards. Although, if you think about it, just Howling Mine is actually enough to deck somebody, because they always draw first. So, unless somehow they're forcing you to draw extra cards, you'll deck them just with Howling Mine. Alright, can I keep this draw? This draw is 2 land. I do have a Stasis. The Cane is garbage. The Kismet will be nice eventually. I'm essentially relying on this Limdol's Vault to go. But if Limdol's Vault finds me a Howling Mine, this draw is actively very good. So I do think I'm going to keep it. I'm disappointed to only have 2 land, though. I definitely need to hit my land drops with this deck. Yep. Thoughtseize is pretty good. That's the reason I'm hesitant to mulligan. Yeah, I mean, I think on paper this deck looks... This lock looks... I took my Stasis, fair enough. This lock looks insane for the mono black deck, but my deck is a little bit on the fragile side. So I guess I just play the Felden's Cane? Sure, let's go ahead and play Felden's Cane. I don't really have any use. I mean, I could save it up for a recall, but I don't think I really want to exile my 1 Felden's Cane. Maybe I do. Yep, there's Pack Rat. Arcane Denial is such a bad counterspell when you use it as a counter. You know what? I should have kept my Felden's Cane so that on turn 3 I could Arcane Denial my own spell. This is counterspell and its controller may draw 2. So essentially, I mean, it's a card disadvantage spell, but the idea with the Stasis deck is that you are... What did he... Oh, he made a copy and then he's attacking for 2. Got it. Because you're locking their mana up, you don't mind giving them extra cards. Alright, let's see if we can find a Howling Mine. Don't like those 5. Oh, I have to do this each time through the loop? I did say yes, didn't I? Okay. Good lord. 1,000,000 lands, now all on the bottom of my library. I have to find... I can't keep these... I can't keep just 5 lands. Alright, this looks great. So no, I don't want to pay any life. I guess I want the Howling Mine right away, right? Sure. I don't love this race, though. I need land drops. If my Force of Will doesn't do anything... Oh, maybe I should have set myself up to draw land here? And then I could Felden's Cane to shuffle? I mean, I set myself up to draw land Force of Will. I do think having a Force of Will make me feel a little better about Stasis locking in, but I mean, I haven't found my Stasis yet. I don't love this race. He just goes... He hits me for so much. He hits me for like time dented 2 turns. I'm not going to win this game, am I? Like, if I could drop Stasis, I'd totally have a shot. But he thought seized my Stasis. He played a Pack Rat. He made another Pack Rat. He randomly has 2 Mutavaults. This is a 2-turn clock. Yeah, he's going to put me to 2 this turn. I'm just totally dead. So my only out is to top deck a Stasis and then draw lands as long as I can, which means I have to reshuffle because I know there's no Stasis on top of my library. Wish me luck! And... no. Dead. Totally dead. Killed me in what? 5 turns, right? He had a Thoughtseize and a turn 5 kill. Keep thinking this matchup should be good for me, and it keeps not being good for me. Interesting stuff. Alright. What is he actually up to? So... I like... most of the cards. What are the cards in my deck that I want to take out? That's the thing. I mean, Plow's my way to deal with a Vigilance creature. It's not like he has Vigilance creatures. Disenchant isn't super relevant. I mean, I could bring in Wall of Air, but I think Arcane Denial is better. None of these cards seem particularly relevant. Lodestone Bauble lets me... no, that's if he gets my land into the graveyard. Yeah, none of these cards do much of anything. I think I just submit the deck. Crazy. See a question from chat about Paris Mulligan timing. Paris Mulligan, Pro Tour Paris was season 2 of the Pro Tour, so that's 1996 to 97. Paris was early 97. Turbo Stasis is, we have it as 96. So it does in fact predate the Paris Mulligan. I mean, honestly, the Paris Mulligan happened while Turbo Stasis was a thing that you could do in Standard. I mean, I think that it's both before and after. The big Summer Nationals where, I think it was Matt Place that unveiled it on a Necro-heavy environment was Summer 96. 96? Yeah, I think it was 96. Alright, I have 2 Howling Mines. That's what I want to do. I want to play Howling Mines, and then I want to draw into a Stasis. So, here we go. God, Backrock kills so fast. Especially with the 2 Mutavaults definitely added a turn to that kill. He's going to keep 6. I mean, if this draw works right, I get to go turn 4 Kismet, turn 5 Stasis. Right? That's kind of... that should be fast enough. I'm not happy about this. But I have 2 Howling Mines. Yeah. God, these 1-mana discard spells. So good against me. Like, that is not a thing that people could do to you back in the day. I'm pretty sure Howling Mine is better than leaving up. Arcane Denial. Yep. Ooh. Nice. Need to find an actual Stasis, though. Oh, do I have to choose that order every turn? Is there not a way to yield to that? I really don't care which order you draw from my Howling Mines. Honest, I don't. I wonder if that's actually better than making a pack rat. Unclear. Sweet. It's got to be worth playing Kismet first, right? I mean, I'm going to take 5. I do catch him tapped out if I do it now, but... Interesting. It's really, do I want to let him untap those 3 swamps and use them once, or would I rather have a Kismet in play for this first Stasis? He's going to build up swamps every turn. Yeah, I'm going to play the Kismet first. Well, honestly, I think I'd rather have him duress my Stasis than my Kismet, because I have more in my deck. Maybe that's not true. So good, these duresses. Well, he doesn't get to make a pack rat. Now I draw the Force of Will and the Arcane Denial. So I should recall a Stasis here to guarantee that I have one next turn. And then I think I'm going to leave up Arcane Denial. Can't actually afford to play it because I wouldn't have the blue mana to upkeep it. Alright, so I can Arcane Denial the first Duress or Thoughtseize. I can Force of Will the second Duress or Thoughtseize. Surely we've got this. I've got 2 Howling Mines in play to give me the never-ending string of blue cards. What is he going to do to me? He needs 3 discard spells if I'm not missing something. And I don't think he can't kill me from 14. He can attack me for... Yeah, this is... I think we're actually going to win it! Well, nothing? I guess he does know I have Arcane Denial. He's still got Devour Flesh in his deck, jeez. Yeah, I can't yield to the stacking of the triggers, unfortunately. Alright. we have the lock. So he's down to 4 mana for the rest of the game. He's down to 4 mana for the rest of the game, unless I fail to upkeep Stasis. But I'm drawing 3 cards a turn, so the odds of me failing to upkeep Stasis are not exactly high. I don't love the fact that I'm using Pain Lands to upkeep it. But we should be fine. Yeah, I mean, I can F7. It's the same thing as clicking. It's one click either way. It's just whether it's a mouse click or an F7. More Howling Mines. Yeah, I mean, a Boomerang or a Despotic Scepter to reset everything is kind of the dream. I don't think it's worth playing a Howling Mine. It's possible I'm supposed to play 2 mana for a Howling Mine there, but I don't think so. No, I don't need to keep 4 lands in my hand. Oh, F7 lasts for the whole game? Sweet. I will do F7 then. Now we have a Boomerang. What can he do to me that I'm going to regret? It's going to make me regret playing another Howling Mine. Nothing, right? Howling Mine, and then I Boomerang. I do not need 2 Stasises in my hand when I have 1. Funny. I guess that's what can happen to me. So what? Oh, so if I Boomerang now, he'll see 2 Stasises. He can't take them both. I can Force a Will the next one. Yeah, that's fine. I don't want him to take my Boomerang. And now I can just let this Thoughtseize resolve. Like, what does he take? He takes a Stasis, but I have another one. And I have a Force of Will. If he has the third... If he has the third Thoughtseize, then I have to go fishing with 3 Howling Mines and a Limdol's Vault. And he does. Alright. Time to set a stop on my upkeep, because I gotta use Limdol's Vault to go find one. Interesting. Is another? No. Okay, that's the Kismet land. Alright. So... It's funny. I yielded to these. And now I actually want to respond to the trigger. I'm just going to go looking for Stasis this way. Found the Stasis. And Elendil's Vault, so I guess I want to draw both of those. I'm going to draw 4 of these, right? Should be fine. $25 cards in his library. No longer need to stop on my upkeep. Oh, Ivory Tower. That seems like a good card here. Definitely worth tapping a mana for. Pain basically offsets all the pain lands. Beginning my upkeep? I am going to have a handful of cards. Imagine that. I think I'll gain 3 life a turn. I don't think he has a plan. I think he's just letting me sort of go through the motions so we can kind of see what's up. See how the deck actually works. More boomerangs. Oh, and a Despotic Scepter. How many Stasises are in my graveyard, though? 1. So there's 3 Stasises in my graveyard. Despotic Scepter is not... I cannot afford to destroy this Stasis. It is, in fact, the last Stasis. Okay. But I can also upkeep it forever at this point, I think. I mean, I can set up a turn where I recall those Stasises, I guess. I mean, he's at 17 cards in library. He's drawing 4 a turn, and I have enough land to just upkeep it. So he's literally down to 1 black mana for the rest of the game. Yeah, and he sees it. So just deck him with Howling Mines. I would eventually have drawn the Felden's Cane if somehow the card drawing timing was going to work out bad for me, but there we go. Chad says I'm wrong about it being Matt Place at 96 U.S. Nationals. Is it 97 U.S. Nationals? I don't know if Matt's the one who actually top-8'd with it, but I'm pretty sure he's the designer. I thought he top-8'd with it. I thought it was 96. There's definitely a U.S. Nationals where there's Turbo Stasis in the top 8, because it was... the deck kind of took that tournament by surprise. Are there any cards here I care about? I mean, I could kill him with Black Vice, but I don't feel like I need a victory condition card in my deck. Maybe I do. Maybe it's better than, like, the 4th Despotic Scepter. Sure. I might actually win a game without having to deck him, without letting him accumulate the hand of all those Thoughtseizes, because that was actually kind of an annoying turn to go through. I can't imagine that I need... well, I guess it was 3 Despotic Scepters, so that's the second one. Yeah, my issue is surviving long enough to get the initial thing off. Plow's not really what I'm up to. I mean, look, it is mana efficient, but what am I replacing? An Arcane Denial? I think I actually want the card flow that comes from Arcane Denial. So I'm basically all in on Lindell's Vault if I keep this hand. That does not sound worth it. Wish I had white mana. Oh, this hand with white mana is great. I think I have to keep it anyway. Like, it has a Stasis, it has a Boomerang. I get a Scry. Yeah, I have to keep this. Interesting. I don't love Island here, but I also don't hate it. I mean, I can't just fish for white mana. I'm going to keep it. Maybe I'm supposed to push there, but... yeah, maybe I was supposed to push. Wow, took my land tax. He must think I put white mana on top of my library. That's great! Do I play the Zern Orb, or do I... there is some chance I will need it for recall fodder. Yeah, I don't see any good reason to commit it to the board. I can also Arcane Denial it to draw 3. Yeah, no reason to commit it to the board. Yet. Yep. How much tempo do I gain by bouncing Pack Rat? I don't think that's right. It's tempting. It's just the boomerangs, the ability to reset a stasis is so powerful. It's like I'm going to buy at least a turn later on. Maybe more. Yuck. Could respond with a boomerang. Don't see any good reason to, because he's going to take the stasis. May as well keep my options. So he's stuck on 2 lands, huh? I'm okay with taking 1. Sure. Now they're 2/2s. Now this boomerang is kind of tempting. Saves 2 damage this turn and 1 takes 2 damage now. 2 damage, 2 to 3 damage next turn. Fine. Close. But we're both kind of scuffling to find stuff. I don't love letting him draw first off Howling Mine, but whatever. This is the only way my deck works. My deck just asserts that I can give you infinite cards. I can beat that by giving you 0 mana. That just is the basic premise of this deck. Feeling pretty good about that boomerang. Definitely saved me some life here. Force Will, City Brass. Oh, City Brass lets me play Kismet. Yeah, that's just the plan. Wish I had a blue card for the Force of Will, but what are you going to do? It's not like he can kill me here. We just need to draw Stasis. And I actually have Zern Orb to buy me some time. Oh, yeah, sorry, let me get the win counter right. This is game 3. It is 1 game apiece. So, this game determines the match. Come on, deck. Howling Mine right here. Not Howling Mine. Stasis right here. Yup. Next turn, his attack. So he hits me down to 10. Next turn his attack is lethal. Well, next turn his attack makes me start sacking lands to Zerrin Orb. Pretty sure I can survive the next attack, right? It'll be for 4, 8, 12. Yeah, it's sack 2 lands, which I don't really want to do, so deck, please. A Stasis. One time island. Ugh. That's annoying. Thoughtseize on my Stasis once again. Is this another duress? I don't have anything here. Is he just discarding a pack rat? Funny. Maybe we should have played Outer Waste. I no longer have any need for white mana with the Kismet in play. I guess there's an outside chance I'm going to need black mana for a Limdol's Vault. So, yeah, I should have played the Outer Waste instead of the island. Come on, deck. Island. Ah! Now the attack is for 16. Damn it. God, we were so close. So close, but Thoughtseize your Stasis is just too much. Oh well. So close, Shadow! I thought I had that one.
I could not sideboard out enough cards.
Oh, sure. I saw Devour Flesh get discarded in game 1. I understand.
Could not. And man, I had such an interesting decision to start with the first Thoughtseize. I had one Thoughtseize in hand. I had scryed one to the top of the deck. And I thought land tax is the most brutal of cards.
Yep.
If you had a plains on top of the Zerrin Orb in hand.
Yep.
Even without Zerrin Orb, like, that card's still really good.
Yeah.
First game I was hoping triple discard would be good enough. But, like...
I have to top deck a Stasis. I have, like, what, 6, 8 cards there with the Howling Mine, Kismet in play. Where Stasis on any of those turns... I mean, Stasis on the very last turn is awkward because you have enough untapped mana. No, you made the pack rat on your turn. You still do not have Grey Merchant mana.
Correct.
So even on the last turn, yeah. Because I have the Kismet lock in play, you're never building up above whatever 2... I think you had 2 untapped. Man,
yeah.
1 mana discard spells are so insane.
They're really efficient.
Yeah. All right. Destroy.
All right.